I happen to be doing a job that I thoroughly enjoy the process of doing. But also, and once all that, the technical stuff is all well and done, I loosen up and have as much fun as possible. And I've always told the crews that I work with, if you're not having fun, is it really worth it? If you're gonna whine and complain at work, well, maybe you're not happy and you should move on. But I've been lucky. I haven't had any problems at all.
Richard, you've played two very iconic roles, both on Stargate and MacGyver, obviously. What's your secret for landing those long-lasting roles? And is it you that you can make it last that long?
I don't know, but I did start to realize at some point that, in fact, I think my agent pointed out to me, and my daughter, Dad, you keep doing these jobs that last forever. What's going on? I said, I don't know. Part of it, I think, are the characters that I've been able to play. They've been attractive to a larger audience for a longer time, which, is tantamount to what you need to go a long ways. I also have a very strong work ethic. I'm from Minnesota in the States, and we're kind of known for our not too unlike this area of the world. Very stoic, nose to the grindstone, get the work done, be efficient, and have fun along the way. That's my little addition to the whole thing. I make sure it's been fun, and that's also part of my answer to your question. Is that I enjoy doing what I do, and I think that comes off. But I've been lucky. That's the bottom line.
Specifically on your role of MacGyver, of course, he's very creative, and you must have been asked this a dozen times already. But if I gave you my bag with all its contents, could you create something yourself, or is that all just show?
Well, it depends on what you're carrying. What do you got in there?
Do you want to see my bag? It's behind the couch. I can get it.
Particularly, but. I don't know. It's, the question is basically it comes down to why MacGyver, basically. Well, I've gone through my life always trying to, because we didn't have a lot of money and, all the cliches about my childhood, but it was important that we be able to create things out of nothing, basically, or out of very little. So that philosophy kind of carried through. I didn't create the show, but when I got in there, it all made sense to me, because it's just a matter. Granted, it was all scripted, and we had done research on how things work, but it was very easy for me to assimilate. And solving problems is about observing and listening and watching, and as opposed to, and this comes down to our basic philosophy, is you don't need a gun to fix the problem. You don't need to, necessarily hurt anyone. That's part of, I think, why MacGyver was so popular, especially with parents who would watch the show with kids, and there was a good ethic there, I think.
And did you think from the start that it was going to be that big of a hit?
Oh my God, no. One of my executive producers, and hence one of my bosses, was Henry Winkler. And in the very early goings, in fact, within the first week, he came to the production crew and cast and just said, I do not want anyone to worry about ratings or write-ups, commentary by people from the outside world. We're going to make the best show we can. Part of this is just Henry's personality. We can do it. And so the pressure was off. We didn't have to worry about, getting numbers to make the ratings and all that business. And it all kind of fed into what I like to have, which is, again, we had fun doing it. And I don't know, my name just somehow got associated with 2 series in a row that lasted a long time, and here I am today talking to you, me.
Yeah, you are.
My train of thought there.
That's fine. Did you know that MacGyver is a verb now, to MacGyver?
It's also a noun, a MacGyverism. One of the dictionaries we contacted and suggested that maybe this might be an iconic type word to use, and eventually we were 2 weeks late to submit MacGyver and MacGyverisms, and so we didn't make it back then. But now it's in there. I guess you can look it up. At least my daughter knows I had a job at some point in my life. I guess it's a nice little legacy to go to bed with.
It's pretty cool. We also had some questions from our readers, so I'm quickly gonna get them so I can ask them to you. MacGyver doesn't do weapons. If he would, what would he handle?
The whole philosophy behind the series and behind the character was that, I don't need a gun. There was a part of the storyline throughout our run of the show was that MacGyver had an incident when he was a kid, and it put him off guns. Like his best friend was accidentally shot with a revolver of some kind. So that stuck with MacGyver, and flash forward to where he is now, and so we went with that personality click in MacGyver, and it was successful, I think, for a number of reasons, obvious reasons, and they happen to fit right in with the way I feel about handguns and such. So I don't know what to say to your reader, listener. Yeah, we would use whatever worked without having to shoot somebody.
Which tricks would actually work from the show? Did they all work?
Of course they all worked. We would do, we had research and writers, producers, and researchers, guys that would do all this searching for, first of all, creating problems that you could take apart, reverse engineering, and then just go forward with it, reverse that process. But they all would work theoretically, let's put it that way. A lot of them worked practically as well. But there were some times we had to stretch the reality a little bit. There wasn't, I remember MacGyver was locked up somewhere, and in a cage or in a jail, and he was dragged in there and thrown in there. But as the camera is going by and going into the jail, you see a bicycle outside, just like tied to a hitching post. Anyway, get into the jail, and then the bad guys go away, and MacGyver's got to get out. And he looks out the door, and he sees the bicycle. Now, the inner dialogue, which was a voiceover, said, if you've got two chemicals that you mix together, you can and create a spark, you can make a blowtorch out of a bicycle, as long as the bicycle is made of magnesium, like this list of things that no bike has ever been made out of. Good God! So, of course, he somehow ropes it, brings it in, does it all, and cuts his way out of the, little stretch. Maybe.
Just a little.
Yeah. There's so many, oh, come on moments, it's like, and I was victimized by them a lot too, getting on set and going, what? Are you serious? Okay.
It's still fun to watch, so that's good.
Yeah, that was the bottom line.
What's the most impressive thing that you can make with a Swiss Army knife?
What? With a knife? I can open a bottle of wine. Things that I can slice olives. I can. What else?
I sense like food-wise.
It's a tool. used to make other things. So you could whittle with it. Good gosh. I don't know if the question warrants too serious an answer, but yeah, it's the tool that became iconic because MacGyver used it in so many situations. But as far as I'll give the questioner a little credit here. The opening a lock with a Swiss Army knife isn't really doable, but we think it is because it's got so many pieces on it. Something must open this door, so that's what we used it for.
Have you seen the new MacGyver?
I don't like it much, actually, and not for any, personal. I mean this constructively. The new show is not reflective of what we created for the franchise, and what they seem to be more is a cop show, a lot of action and a lot of guns, and a Jack Dalton, that great actor, but just it doesn't fit what we were. We're more methodical and I think more observant in the solving of our problems. Is our MacGyver was. There's sometimes you'll watch the new one, you'll see 4 separate panels on screen that are all doing something that lead to the solution to the problem, and it goes by like that. Now maybe that's today's audience, I don't know, but during my era, I guess we'll say, we'd show MacGyver seeing the problem. This is a simplification, mind you. See the problem, see solutions, potential solutions to the problems, see him gather them together, mind you, in an entertaining way, and but methodical, and see him put it all together, and then, we solve that problem. We, bring down that bridge, or start that, or stop that leak, or whatever it is. I think the new one's just like too fast in that element of the show. I mean, it's got a lot of other things going dramatically and interpersonally, I guess. I'm not a regular watcher, but I've seen enough to know that they, I don't begrudge them the effort. I really don't. And everybody seems to be good people. But I'm not happy with what I see on screen.
And we hope you enjoy the rest of the convention.
Me too.